Welcome back everyone to another live recording session here on Let's Build Twitter. As I mentioned at the end of last series or last stream, this is going to be the last recording or last streaming of this series this year. We have family coming down this week and then Christmas and everything else. So I'm just going to go ahead and take some time to go through the clips and everything that I've already recorded, get everything edited up and try to clean out my hard drive. I'm going to talk a lot more about that in the video that I have coming out a little bit later on, so I'm not going to get too deep into it here, but today I kind of want to get into kind of making the top bar work a little bit, styling up that search component, and then seeing if we can get the effect where basically you hover over all the elements and then it shows up at the bottom, and then maybe even the color selector. I am going through and making like a new JSON list that's more suited for us, so it's taken a lot longer than I thought. I'm basically through the smileys and people. Granted, the smileys and people is the longest part of the list, so once I get through that, it'll probably be a lot faster. But that's kind of what I've been working on. So whenever I get back and start streaming again, we're going to start going through and refactoring a bunch of stuff to get it working a little bit better. But with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into what we're working on today. So like I said, I kind of want to go ahead and maybe get the top search bar kind of situated. Then also see if we can get the top navigation bar working. So if we click around, it goes to the specific spot, and then we can kind of see where we go from there. So right now, if we go back into our emoji dropdown, all we have is this div top. I don't know if the top is actually styled. I can actually see how big this is. So let me go ahead and just take a peek at how big the top of this is. So the top part, if I can see, is maybe I can't see how big the top part is. So never mind, it won't let me. So it's 52 plus 32, so 84 tall. So we can go ahead and let's grab this emoji drop down top and let's see if we have any styles for this. So we drop down top, I do, instead of height fit content, let's say 52, or actually it was 84, right? 84 px. Okay, that's good to go. Save that. And I don't know if that really changed anything. I'm not too worried about it. So let's go ahead and make this kind of like search emojis type thing here. So if we come back into our emoji dropdown, let's go ahead and grab the search border and copy this. And let's go ahead and do this. So this have a width of, it's not quite 100%. Let's say like 98%. And then a height of, let me see what the height looks like. Height of 40 px, so 40 px. The border radius is like 50%, so actually I'm going to say 20 px. And this needs a, this is going to need a display, not inline, display flex. And we'll go ahead and justify content, and I think I'm going to do this flex start is what it looks like. It should be flex start. And then we're also going to align items in the center. All right, so we should start seeing a little bit of a difference. So we also need to like figure out like active versus inactive. I think there's like a colon focus, right? So if we say like dot emoji dash drop down dash search border, I think there's a colon focus. Is there? Colon focus maybe. So there's a focus, applies while the element has a focus. So we'll do a focus and then we'll do a non-focus. So we do want a border on this, maybe like 1 px solid, and then we want the gray color. So let's grab this gray color right here. So by default it'll be solid. Whenever it's focused, it'll be border 1 px. Actually, I think it's like 2 px. Let's say 2 px solid. And it needs to be the blue. I'm not sure if we have the blue in here. We do. Perfect. So copy this. And let's see here. We'll go ahead and I lost it here. I don't think there's anything else. We might need to also do the placeholder. So the placeholder text is, I don't know if I can actually get the placeholder text on there, but I guess it doesn't actually go on that, but let's just see what this looks like for now. It's going to look a little bit scuffed, but we can fix it up as we go. So now you can see here, so the top looks like it is going to need or we're gonna need some sort of second thing here, just because it's not centered. But this looks pretty good. The icon might need to be a little bit smaller. We can deal with that. And this is going to be invisible, and it'll probably go all the way out to the end. But I think this is going okay. The only thing is we need kind of like a, excuse me, we need another div there, I think. So let's go back into an emoji dropdown. We already have a top here, but let's go ahead and we have a padding on the top already. So let's see. We could probably actually do this. So we could come back into our CSS and make the search 100%, like so. And then we can also add like in our top, we can add a padding of like 4px or something. It's pretty light. And this one we might have to change a little bit as well. So if we take a peek at this, I think that's actually pretty good. And I'm going to keep it. And if we focus, although you know what? We can't focus because we're going to have to do it differently. Because it's not a... I wonder if we can... I don't know if we can do what I'm thinking. I don't think we can put this guy inside. We might be able to. So what I'm thinking maybe is, instead of having this border here, I'm thinking we do something. But how would we do this? I think we still need this border, but I'm thinking maybe instead of border, we just have like wrapper here, and then we add this. So we take this search here, we copy it, and we paste it. This is the search, like so. Although we don't want the top, we want it on the board. If we take this, and let's just see what this looks like. This is gonna scuff a couple things, I'm aware, and we can fix it. So now if we, yeah, except it's not blue. It does get bigger though. So why is it not blue? Order 2px solid. Interesting. It shouldn't have to do with grayscale, I don't think. That wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't make any sense for it to be grayscale. A grayscale issue. Border 2px solid. Oh, you know what? It's because we need to change this to here. And save that. And then maybe instead of calling it border, we'll call it something else. And we'll add some padding and stuff inside, and that'll work. So if we come back in here, although it's backwards now, question mark. Let's try this again. Let's refresh. Okay, for some reason I forgot to put the focus on. That makes sense. Focus is still black for some reason. Drop down search :focus. Interesting. Everything's saved. That's interesting. I'm not sure why focus isn't working. It's definitely making it thicker, right? So I don't know why whenever we focus, it's not giving it the 2px or this color. So let's do a quick Google search, I guess. So input element colored border on focus. Let's see if I'm just doing something wrong here. This better not make me sign up. Input focus border color. I tried that and it didn't work. So let's try border color, I guess. Border color this. It just says literally just do input focus and then this border color. So maybe this. Still black. I'm wondering if it has, for some reason, it's like grayscaled or something. I don't even know why that would be an issue, but that's the only thing I can think of. And that has something to do with this border, but that still also doesn't make sense. What if we get rid of this border? Whoops. So if we get rid of the border on this drop down, let's see if it changed anything. Nope, it just stays black. Let me go ahead and just make sure this is spelled out right. Emoji drop down search. Copy. And go ahead and paste it here. Yeah, I'm not sure why this one doesn't want to work. That's interesting. I'm pretty sure it should be blue. Like, I'm fairly certain it should be blue right now. So I figured this would be an easy little start here. But apparently not. I'm gonna see. The only thing that has grayscale is this emoji inactive. I'm gonna get rid of it and see what happens. Nope, that's not it either. Huh. I'm not sure why it doesn't want to work. Oh, it's outline. We have to put outline none, I guess. So let's try that. Outline none. So maybe it's getting outlined and it's not being able to see it. So let's try this. There we go. So let's go ahead and change this to border again. And we'll say 2px solid like we had and save that. And let's see. Cool, there we go. So now let's go ahead and add our padding and everything. So let me think, let's see what I might want the padding at. So this one says 0.1604. So let's try padding 0.16px 0.4px. And let's see what that looks like. So we come back in here, nothing happened. Let's refresh. Still nothing. Interesting. Drop down search. That's definitely the right thing. There should be some sort of padding. Let's say padding left 16px. And this is the drop down search and it shouldn't change on this. So let's go ahead and I'm also going to put outline none on this just to be safe, but let's hop back in. Okay, there we go. Now there's a little bit of space there. I think we even need a little bit more. So let's say, let's like double it. So let's say padding like 32px, and we also need to go ahead and get this other guy where it needs to be, and I might have to wrap it in a div just to get it to work the way that I want. It's about like 16 pixels wide, give or take. But let's go ahead and just take a peek at what this is looking like. So yeah, and then we'll put this guy here and make it a little bit smaller. So if we come back into our emoji dropdown, this one we need to say like SX equal to, and we might have to put like wrap this inside of a div to kind of put it where we want it. But I'm gonna go ahead and say font size, and let's try like 16px to start out, and then I'm gonna go ahead and kind of change it, and then you guys will obviously see the final product in the video. But if we go ahead, take a peek, that might be a little small. Let's try like 18, and then let's see what 18 looks like. Maybe 20. I don't want it to be too big. I think we're gonna go 20, and now let's go ahead and wrap this inside of a div. So div class name equal to emoji dash drop. Whoops. And I probably could have, you know what? Let's just go ahead and try this. Next, let's go ahead and put in position, and we'll put position absolute in here. And then let's put top 0. And I might have to put this inside of quotes, I don't know. And left 0. And let's just see what this looks like and save it. And then we can kind of start tweaking things and getting it where we want. So if we open this back up, so that doesn't look horrible. So let's go ahead and say we want it kind of like, although I think if we do 50%, that the centering thing, I don't think it's going to actually work. So let's say like top 20%, and then I'll start tweaking it and getting it to come down. So now we do need to go ahead and put this inside of quotes. So let's just do what 20% looks like, and we can start working with it from here. And oh, that's way too big. So maybe 5%. We might do pixels in this one, which isn't best practice, but it is what it is. Yeah, so let's say like instead of 5%, let's say like 16px, and just kind of see where 16px leads us. So 16px looks almost good, maybe like 14px. And again, this sucks to add and everything, but it is what it is. Maybe 12px. .px I think is fine, and then on the left, let's do like 8px and just kind of see where this brings us. So maybe we do 16px, 16, and I think this does need to go back to like 14, and we'll see what this looks like. So I think that is somewhat good. We might need to move it back to the left a little bit, but I think that's looking okay. Now we need to go ahead and get the placeholder in here. So we're going to go ahead and say placeholder is equal to, and it's just text. So this is going to say search emojis. And we also need to go ahead and style up the placeholder, but we can deal with that. So now you see place emojis, which doesn't look too bad at all. I think that's actually pretty close. So I really kind of like the way that's looking. Now I think we can go ahead and bump up the size a little bit. I like the color, and then we can also make it a little bit skinnier. So if we come back in here, so I think now we can say dot emoji drop down search : placeholder, and with a font size, I don't know what default is, but let's just try 16px, and font weight is 400. We might need to make it a little bit smaller. I don't know what the font's going to look like, but let's just take a peek. So I think that's actually pretty good. We might want it slightly smaller, maybe like 14px. And we also need to bump this guy around a little bit. So back inside here, we need to mess with this a little bit, but I think that looks pretty good. And I don't know, I think that looks pretty good. I think we can kind of keep it at that point. So that's good to go. Now we need to also work on these guys, because this guy is kind of scuffed and I want to fix this. So what we're gonna have to do is, instead of this generate row, we're probably gonna have to have like another div wrapping this div, just so that we can have more uniform. So let's go ahead and just do this. So I'm gonna wrap this inside of a curly brace like so. And what we're gonna go ahead and do is this, and it's mad at me, so I guess it doesn't like that, so let's not do that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say div class name equal to, and we're gonna say emoji dash drop down dash category dash wrapper. And then we're gonna do this and close this div. It's gonna complain for a second. Yep, that's perfectly fine. And then we're gonna do one of these. Somehow we got an extra div here. Not sure the extra div came from, but okay. And then, oh, it's because it didn't get, what happened here? Oh, this div was self-closing? Or let's see. this didn't close. Okay, that's what's going on. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. And then somehow this still didn't close. This is all whack. Let's go in here, paste this, and I don't know what's happening here. What is going on? It's not copying the entire div for some reason. There, copy. Get rid of this extra div. Go ahead and open up this div. Come in there. Cool. Okay, I don't know what was going on with that. And then fix that. I don't know what's wrong with the else. We got rid of this again. I do not know what's going on right now. Undo this again. Okay. I have no idea what is going on and what's causing all this, but let's go ahead and make this. Okay, here was what we're gonna do. We're gonna copy this guy. We're gonna copy it. Div class name equal to emoji dash drop dash down dash category dash wrapper. Right? We're gonna do that. And for some reason it doesn't want to close on its own, so we're gonna make a div. And then inside here, we're going to paste in that old thing. And then below it, we're going to have another div with the class name equal to, and this would be emoji dash drop down category. And then this one will be dash underline. And then we might also want emoji active in there. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe we'll say underline active or something like that. And this will also just be an empty div. And we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to copy this and paste this. Maybe I copied it again. So copy this, paste this, and then now that's going to be inactive like we had. Inactive, and then this is going to be inactive. And you guys will see what we're going to do with this. So this emoji drop down category. And let's make sure we copy and paste this correctly. So emoji drop down category wrapper. So save that. Whoops. Save that. And let's copy this. And this is getting a little bit freaky, but it shouldn't be too bad. I don't remember. Here's our categories. So category wrapper. So this has a height and width of, this is 35 by 35 plus 4. So this is going to be like 39 by 40, 39 by something, I guess. How do we want to do this? Yeah, so this will be 39 by 35, I guess. So this will be, width will be 35 px. And height will be 39 px, and hopefully this all fits in here. I'm trying to think about how we want to do this. So I don't necessarily think we need this display flex anymore. And do we even have categories? So categories, we do. Categories is only 32 high, so this is actually going to turn into fit content. And save that, and we might need to make the other one slightly bigger, but we'll see. Does this fit? I think it does fit. So now you can see that this is all kind of the same, but we're gonna go ahead and make a change here. So emoji active is no longer have a border bottom, and honestly we don't even really need anything on that. So if we come back in here now, we should have no border bottom. They should all be the same. We might need to add a little bit of space. But the idea now We might want to get some of the padding bottom, get rid of the padding bottom as well, and that'll be an easy fix. But now what we want to go ahead and do is the active one. So we come back in here. So now we have the and I guess we didn't even need the category underline inactive, but it is what it is. So category underline active, and copy this and come back in here, and I'll just put it, I guess, below here. And let me check something really quick. Okay, it doesn't add anything, that's fine. So trying to think of where I want this. I guess we'll put it here. Do this, and then this will be obviously height is 4px. It's gonna have a width of 100% of its little area. It's gonna be a background color of Twitter blue. Have a border radius of like 2px or something. And I think that's all we need for the active. So now this should look a little bit more like Twitter. Now we want to get rid of the margin or the padding on the bottom. So I need to think about how to do that on the top, because right now we just have padding 4px. So let me look at the advanced padding stats. So, and we'll get some more advanced padding here. So we want 4, 4, 0, 4. So 4px, comma, I don't know if it's commas, right? No commas. 4px, 4px, 0, and 4px. And that should add it everywhere except for the bottom. So now it's going to come back in here. So now it's still not quite perfect because apparently there's a little bit of space between the line. But that looks a lot more like Twitter. And honestly, we can make these guys slightly bigger as well. So let's come back. And I don't remember how we made this actual background image bigger, because if you guys remember, it's Hiccup's background image. So let's go back to our, maybe it's inside of our category itself. Yeah, background size. So let's maybe make background size like 24, because it should be a little bit closer. And this one might be one we have to tweak a little bit as well. So I think that is a little bit better, and I think that it's not perfect just because of the effect, but I think that looks pretty darn good, to be honest, and I think that's gonna be fine. The only thing is there is a little bit more space below this guy, but I think if we wanted to, what we could do is we can make this guy a little bit smaller, so we can make the actual category itself maybe like 33 pixels or something, just to size it down a little bit, and maybe that'll add a little bit more space. Except it didn't add any more space under the actual search bar. So if we wanted to, on the, where is it at? The search, we can go ahead and it's like margin on the bottom of like 2px, just to give it a little bit more space. Again, this is all just off the top of my head, and now we should have a little bit more space under there, and I think that looks more natural. So I think that looks pretty good for this. Now the hard part is I want to be able to click on these and actually navigate to a specific heading, and I don't think it's that hard to do, but we'll have to figure out how to do it. So the active ones aren't going to have an on click. However, whenever we click on the inactive one, we do want to have an on click. So I'm going to go in here, add an on click, on click equal to, we'll say navigate to section, and then we'll go ahead and make that navigate to section. So we'll say const navigate to section, like so. And this might need an react dot, this would be click event, I guess, or mouse event, I think is how they call it. And this is on an HTML, I think this is a div element, so div element like so. And then maybe what we go ahead and do, so we have the image, except the image Ooh, so the image is not going to help us much. Yeah, so I didn't want to have to refactor a bunch of stuff because I'm going to have to refactor again to get all of this working. So let's just take a quick peek at our emoji utils. So right now it just returns the emoji itself, right? Well, actually this one doesn't return the emoji itself. This one returns the top row, just returns the image itself. So what we could do, if I remember correctly, each one of these should have an ID on it, right? Yeah, ID, smileys and people. So we could change this to an object. So maybe inside of our emoji utils, instead of, well, we can still return an array of objects, I guess, except let's go and say interface top row data, and this will have an img of type string, and then it'll also have like ID of type string. And then what we can go ahead and do is say this is gonna return data, and data will be a top row data. So let's go ahead and say that this is a top row data. And so now we'll say data data dot push, or data actually 0 is equal to an img will be equal to images supported for now. Again, this is going to get refactored later. And then ID will be recent, maybe, because we don't actually have recent. And then we'll do the same thing. So here, copy and paste. Whoops, if I don't mess everything up. So then it didn't copy it. Thank you. Let's go copy data. So now data 1 will be image this, and then this is smileys and people. So copy this, smileys and people. And yes, it's going to break a lot of things, but it's fine. So now data 2, so let's copy this, paste this. So data 2 is equal to that. And then data 2 is equal to animals and nature. So let's copy this and paste it here. Animals and nature. Copy for data 3. So data 3 is, let's see, data 3 is food and drink. So let's copy food and drink. And let's get rid of that for now, food and drink. Okay, so now data 4. So data 4 will be equal to activity. So put activity in here for ID. I would do data 5, maybe. So data 5, and then data 5 is going to be, let's take a peek, travel in places. So all the not all the emojis, but the emojis are going to change in here, but at least this should still work. So copy and paste for 6, and 6 is going to be objects, I think, but let's just double check. Yep, objects is next. So copy this one and say objects, and 7 should be symbols, I think. So paste 7 is symbols, and then finally 8 is flags. So copy this one, and somehow I got an extra, so get rid of that. Paste this one, 8, and I got an extra one again, I think. Let's see. Nope, that's fine. Okay, and then this one is going to be flags. Let's just double check that it is plural. Flags, cool. So again, this is broken, but it's fine. We're going to go ahead and return data. Save that, and now inside of our emoji dropdown, what we're going to do is we're going to have data, and then data dot image, right? And then this will be data dot image. So copy, paste data dot image, and then our ID, instead of index now, our ID is going to be data dot, and this is going to be ID, and that'll be nice. And now we don't need this index anymore. I don't think we need the index in this either, because again, we're not going to be setting anything. Although the only issue, yes, let's actually keep index, I guess. That's fine. The only thing that we're gonna have an issue with is, we can figure out how to deal with that, I guess. So we can make a switch case or something. I'm not that concerned about it. But let's go ahead and redo what we had. So data.id, it's going to be worth it because of the on click. So now we should be able to get e.target.id, or it might be e.currentTarget.id. Yep, so we can get access to that, so that's fine and good. Now, whenever we set the active, which is what I was concerned about, we might need a switch case. So let's first get it setting the active. So now, since we're using, there's no on click on the active, we can't actually access this ID here. So what we might have to end up doing is doing something like case. So switch on E. Well, actually, we need to first check to make sure. No, we should be fine. E dot current target dot ID. We'll switch on that, and we'll have different cases. So case, and this is kind of annoying. So now I have to do all these again. So case smileys and people, and actually we'll also have case recent. So case recent. So case recent, we'll go ahead and say set active category to 0. And then here it will break. So that's probably complaining about, right? And then case set active category to 1. I don't know how that got there. Break, and we'll do this all the way through. So case, and then it'd be cool if it was smart enough to know. So case animals in nature. So animals in nature will be set active category to 2 and break. Not even close. Break case 3. So next one is food and drink. So let's copy food and drink. So for case food and drink, we're gonna have set active category to 3 and break. All right, case number 5, or number 4 technically. So food and drink be activity. So go ahead and say activity, and we'll say, whoops, I don't know how I keep double adding that. So set active category to 4, and then break, and then case active activity, I think is travel and places. Yep. Place travel and places. So copy this, paste it in there, and then set active category 5 and break. So I want to see if we can just get this part working, and then we'll try to get the navigating working. So after travel and places, we have objects. So let's copy this one and paste objects in there. Set active category to 6 and break. And I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but meh, whatever. So after objects is symbols, I believe. So let's grab symbols. So case symbols. So if it's symbols, we'll set active category to 7 and break. If I could type, that'd be cool. And then case, I could probably do a default case here because really there's no other options. So I guess we'll just have a default here. So default, and the default will be to set active to 8. So set active category to 8. and save. So let's just see if we can set the active category and move on from here. So we come back in here and we click on this, it goes to active, active, active. So all of these can be set to active and they're working as expected. Now recent, I don't know how we're gonna do yet, but we'll figure it out. So that's good to go. So now what we need to go ahead and do is make it so we can navigate to a specific heading. So I'm going to say JS navigate to specific heading in HTML. So I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be pretty easy, but I don't remember. So it says that you can use an A tag, but I don't know if that's going to work with this. I don't really want to use an anchor tag though. Navigation functions. Okay, well, that's for Google Maps. That's not going to help us. How to redirect to a particular part of your page. So it looks like we do have to use an href. But how do we do it with JavaScript is the question. So we might have to make these A tags. Let's try, see if there's a React. React, jump to specific. Thank you, appreciate it. Part of page. There might be a React way to do this. Let's see. Hash link, smooth to about us : section 1, and then the div just has that. So we might try that. So let's go ahead and make these hash links. The only issue is I don't know if we can. This one says scroll to section window dot. I might try this one, maybe. I don't know why we need refs in there though. Think about trying this hash link and seeing what happens maybe. And then the styling might be an issue, but we can figure it out. So I'm guessing if we go ahead and let's go up here, import, and this might be also outdated, but hash link from, and this is React router hash link. I don't know if I want to install another thing. We can try it, I guess. Let's go ahead and try to install this. So I'm going to go into a new bash, npm I react router hash link. Hopefully it's not horrible. We'll see. Let's go and import React router hash link and see what happens here. All right, installed React router hash link. What's the issue? Is it not? Maybe it doesn't exist. Import that from there. Does not like it. Hash link is declared but never done. Oh, we need to do this. Let's also do the types. I love TypeScript. All right, let's deal with the types really quick. We'll take a sip of water. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and, is that how we do it or do we do it like this? Let's see. So now apparently we can set up a hash link too. So, okay, it does not like that. So I think it does need to be like this. Let's do this. Save that. Are you okay with that one? Okay, cool. So now instead of, let's see. Nope, it still doesn't like hash link. Cannot find declaration file for. Let's do this. Let's try to restart it and see if that does it. If not, we might have to use this other person's idea here, which is say window.scroll2. Although I don't know. Oh, I see. We need a ref because of. I don't really want to scroll. Well, scroll into it would be probably fine. Are you happy now? Okay, I think it's fine now. So I wonder if we. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna say hash link on this. So. You know what though? Let's just see what happens. Hash link. I have a hard time believing this is gonna work because of styling, but we'll see. Smooth 2, and this is gonna go to slash. I think this is like home slash and then pound, and this needs to be 2 equal to, and we need our backticks. Whoops, backticks pound $, and this is going to be data. We need a dollar. Oh no, it's fine. Data ID. We might also have to wrap this like so to make it happy. Yep. Okay. So hash link to there. And do this. And what's your problem? So hash link does not have any construct or call signatures. So what if we go ahead and wrap this in here again? I mean, hash link might not even work. It might be outdated. Now here's the question. Can I take this and throw it inside of a hash link? Or are you going to complain? I have a feeling it's probably going to complain. But maybe it won't. So there's no errors right now, and we have the IDs on here already. So worst case scenario, we undo all of this. I pretend like it never happened in the video. How's it going from Thailand? And whatever, or it might work. We'll see. So we click on this one. Nothing happened. You love to see it. So hash link is not working. That's cool. It's in. Oh, you know what? Although that shouldn't matter. So it says to slash home slash $ section. Let's try it in this one too, and maybe the on click's not working or something else, who knows, but let's try it on this as well. So we might set up the navigate thing that I was talking about, some sort of function. So let's try it on this again, because really I want it on the inactive. Yeah, so this isn't working. We have our IDs on all of these, right? So ID equal to this. Although the thing is this is on, it's on a div, so that should be fine. The other option is to set up a bunch of refs. Let's see if this one works. Let's undo all the work I just did because it's not going to work. Get rid of hash link completely. Okay, get rid of it from up here. So we're going to go ahead and try this out on one single piece. So I'm going to try it out on this guy here, the smileys and people. So let's go ahead and set up a ref. So let's go ahead and throw use ref in here. So I don't know if this is going to work either, so we're just going to test it out. So const, and we'll say smileys ref is equal to use ref of type HTML div elements, like so, and we'll start out as null, as we always do. And then down here on our smileys, we're going to say ref equal to smileys ref. And if this works, cool, we'll use it. If not, it is what it is. Okay, and now we're going to have our function. So we're going to say window. Oh shoot. This is gonna be an issue. How do we want to do this? That's an issue. Is there any other ways to do this? Goodness. See, there's a way to scroll. Navbar. That doesn't help us either. So there's a such thing as an anchor link. But this is also another thing that you have to install. I'm not doing that. So let's just do a little bit more research here. Let's get rid of the smiley ref and get rid of use ref because we're not going to use it. And let's go back down here and get rid of this on ref. So I just need to do a little bit more research here. So let's see if there's anything else here. Main show is document fragment you want to link to, blah blah blah. See, this doesn't help me either. We might have to make each of these. So the next option would be to make each of these an A tag with an href, which would be easy enough, I think. So like what we could do is make let's see, we can make like this A tag, this div here an A tag maybe. And yes, it's gonna complain. And then this A tag has an href equal to, and then it'll be like $, $, curly brace, and then this would be data.id. So this is the other thing that we could try. The only issues that I could possibly see might be the spaces, maybe. So we could try. So yeah, that's not doing anything. So what if we said what if we got rid of the spaces? So let's try this. I don't know if this is allowed either, but I'm gonna get rid of the spaces and see what happens. Activity. The thing is, I did this in a project before. So I know it's possible to do this. I just don't know how exactly we need to do it. So let's also change these, and we also used headers instead of divs, but I don't think it matters as long as there's an ID on it. So I just got to figure out how the heck to get it to work with React again, and I think it'll be fine. So let's try this really quick. If this doesn't work, I'll undo it again, do a little bit more research. So okay, so this is still not navigating to, like, for example, the next one should be animals in nature. Okay, so let's see. I guess let's undo this. It's not the issue. Put that back to data. Let's come back in here and let's get rid of these as well. So it doesn't seem like the A tag wants to work either, which is tough. What to try? HTML, JS, navigate to section using, or navigate to section. How to navigate to a section of a page. See, this also says use anchors. React, navigate to section. Use anchors with React Router, let's see. See, this one is also saying to use hash link. but I can't seem to get this. I couldn't seem to get hash link to use. Although they used hash router instead of router, that's the issue. What if we brought in link from React Router DOM instead? So this solution works with the React Router v5. So this one has a route switch and use location. It has a use effect. Scrolls to the top. Otherwise, then it has a link to /pound_home. So let's try to bring in import link from React Router DOM, and then maybe we make this a link here. So in this, instead of this an a tag, maybe this is a link. And this might not be allowed either. So link, and then maybe this says like 2, and this says 2. You know what? We might just say like, let's try this really quick. But we might just say like /home pound, and we might have to put like an ID on the drop down, pound whatever, right? We might have to do like something strange like that. So let's see if this works. We're already on Amazon Nature, so if we refresh, we also need to figure out how to get it to understand what we went through. Hello? Okay, so the link obviously broke it, so that's no bueno. So link is not gonna work. This might be a lost clause. I thought it'd be easy to navigate to a section. Window dot, so they're saying like window dot scroll to, and then there should be a way to, so you can get the element. Okay, so this is very not React-ish though, but we might be able to do some like regular HTML on this, because we know which ID we want to get. So we can basically find the element. So const element is equal to document dot get element by ID, and we have the ID by e dot current target dot get ID. Get, or actually it's just ID, right? And we can prove that we have that. So console.log. We can actually, I guess, grab the element maybe. And let's just see what happens when we grab this element. So if we come in here, if we come into our inspect window and go to our console, this is scuffed, I know. And I don't care about the key props. If we click on this, we got the, well, obviously this is the one. Drop down category, emoji active. So that's not what I was expecting actually. That got the actual element itself. We should have gotten, the ID is this. Shoot, we have 2 with the same ID. Okay, I see what's going on now. Shoot. So we might have to say index and do a switch case here. So what if we say ID goes back to index here? So we'll say backticks $, curly brace, index. I did all that fancy work for nothing, it seems like. And then Now this will be 0, 1, 2. This is really ugly. I wouldn't do this. I'm just trying to see if we can get this to work here. And this is going to be an absolute pain to edit later, so I'm not looking forward to it. So here we'll set active 1. We'll say const element. Copy this. Say const element is equal to this. Instead of e.target.id, that's going to be smileys and people. And that's console.log the element. So obviously it's not going to work when we click off of it. So if we click on it now, we got null. Interesting. Well, I spelled people wrong, so that might help. Save that, and let's try again. So if we click on this, we get a div with the ID smileys and people. It's the drop down selector as the wrapper and has all of our icons. So what we might have to do is we might have to go through here and grab that element, and then from here you can scroll until it's in view. So we can say if we get the element, we can go ahead and say element dot, it says we can scroll into view, and let's see if this wants to work. They use like a link and stuff, but I don't know if you need a link. So we come in here, let's scroll this down like to this. So it does work. It doesn't scroll very nicely, but it works, and I don't care how pretty it is, right? So now we can go ahead and copy paste this, and now I forget which ones all these are, so that's great. But if we go ahead and do this, so now what we want to go and do is that's kind of dumb. So we'll say let element, I guess, and then except we gotta do it outside the switch. So bring it outside the switch, bring it up here, let elements, do this. We'll do you're annoying, element equal to null, I guess. What is the issue? Element is used before its declaration, but it's not. But you won't let me have it here and here. So what do you want from me? I can't put it up here. What do you want from me? So I guess we'll say let smileys, and then smileys dot scroll into frame, and then next is the nature, animals in nature. So we'll copy this and we'll say animals in nature, and then whoops, wrong one, animals in nature. We'll call this animals, I guess. If we have our animals, we'll scroll animals into view. All right, next we'll have let's see, const, I don't remember what this one is. So const, this one is going to be food and drink. Let's just copy this guy really quick. So copy that. So then const food is equal to document dot get element by ID. So this is going to be food and drink. And then if we have our food, I'm going to make this at least a little bit consistent here. So if food, we're going to say food dot scroll into view. All right. After this one, after food, we have activity. So copy activity, bring it up here. So here we'll say const activity is equal to documents. Whoops, I can't type. Document dot get element by ID, and this will be activity. And then if activity, we'll go ahead and say activity dot scroll into view. After activity, we have ourselves travel and places. So copy this, go into 5, const travel is equal to document dot get element by ID. Whoops, I spelled document wrong. Document dot get element by ID. We'll get by travel and places, and then we'll say if travel, we'll say whoops, travel dot scroll into view, and save that. And we have a couple more. Finally, we have after travel, we have objects, copy objects, and then we'll say const objects equal to document dot get element by ID, get objects, and we'll say if objects exist. So if objects, then we'll say objects dot travel or scroll into view. After objects, we have symbols, so const symbols equal to document dot get element by ID, get symbols, and my keyboard must be really touchy or something because it keeps double typing those, but symbols dot scroll into view. And then finally, the default case will be, and I guess we'll put it below this like I have been doing the other ones. So const flags is equal to document dot get element by ID, get flags, and then we'll say if our flags, we'll go ahead and say flags dot scroll into view. And we also should probably go ahead and do this one. This one's not going to work, but we can at least set it up. So like we'll say let recent equal to document dot get element, not create element, dot get element by ID. This will be recent, and then if it exists, so we'll say recent if recent, and we'll say recent dot scroll to into view. Again, recent doesn't exist, but if it ever does exist in the future, it'll go there, and we're going to set that up in a little bit. So let's see if we can get this to scroll around. So if we go into here, animals and nature, food and drink, activity, travel and places, objects. So there's probably a way to make this pretty. I'm not sure why symbols was scuffed right there. Oh, it's fine now. Huh, interesting. But there we go. So now we can kind of hop around and do all that. So next, what I want to go ahead and do is, again, this is going to have to be doing, well, let's see here. What do I want to do? We have two options. One, we need to kind of keep an eye on when we pass through things, I guess. That's one thing we need to do. And then two, I would really like to be able to keep track of which one we're looking at and then set up this underneath part. I think the underneath part might take a little less time. So maybe we do that. So let's go into the bottom. On Twitter, the bottom has two parts. It has like a waving hand, and then it also has a section to click on other like colors, so the different skin tones. So here we'll have a, really it's gonna be, how are we gonna do this? It's gonna have to be some sort of function, and we're gonna have to update something. So this is gonna be like display current emoji, and that's gonna display the current emoji, and there's gonna be a div class name equal to, and then this will be skin emoji drop down skin tone selector. And then we also need like the current skin tone. And we'll have to set that up. So before we display current emoji, each one of our actual emojis here is going to need an ARIA label. And hopefully it'll let me add that. ARIA-label. Cool, it will. An ARIA label is going to be like the name of the emoji, which means I have to go through and update each and every one of these to actually show the ARIA label. So maybe we go ahead and do that now. So in the emoji utils, and let's see if we can just get it working for smileys and people first. So now instead of this, we'll say, let's say interface, and we'll say emoji data maybe. And this will have, right now we have emoji, which will be a string. And let's go ahead and say, whoops, I gotta do the interface right. I don't know what else we need because right now we're using the emoji. So let's just say emoji string. And then we'll also go ahead and say, what's the other thing that we want? Let me think for a sec. We need the emoji string, and we also need the name. So we'll say name, also string. We can also update this later. So I'm gonna copy this. Now it's gonna return an emoji. This should be data, not date. I don't know why I always put date instead of data. So now this is gonna map an emoji. So here, let's fix this map. So emoji can still be emoji.emoji. Actually, we're gonna say emoji colon emoji.emoji, and then the name will be emoji.name, and then that should be good. I don't know what it's complaining about. Emoji is all that. That should be fine. Name is deprecated. Oh, this should be, no, that should be right. We want to return this. We shouldn't have to return. Yeah, we don't have to return this. Should just be able to return this. I don't know why name is mad here. Because we want to return this data. It's not mad because of this, because this should be an emoji data array. It won't let me create this. Is it this? Do we need to return here? It might be this, because we're trying to return an object. It might be confused. Let's try this. Yeah, it was confused. Okay. Crisis averted. So now, whenever we do this, now this will be emoji dot, and I put this ARIA label on the wrong thing. Of course I did. So this will be emoji dot emoji, and then we'll have an ARIA label, ARIA dash label, and hopefully we can use this similarly to what Twitter does. It'll be emoji dot name, and let's go ahead and save this and see if this does what we expect it to. And where is drop down broken at? Display. Oh yeah, I forgot we added this in here. So let's just go ahead and hide this for now, and we'll deal with that later. So now if we come back into here, I just want to see if these have the labels like we expect. Can I please select it? It won't let me select. Okay, here we go. Well, I just lost it. There we go. Okay, I'm a little bit concerned because it seems a little bit like it's slow, but it does have the ARIA labels. That's good. If you hover over it, does it do what I think it does? No. Okay, it is what it is. But now we have the ARIA label on there. Maybe we could use like a div or something, or not a div, an ID or something. So now that we have those, I want to know which, so basically our entire, so maybe instead of this, we have like a current emoji or something. Is what we might do, which we might have to update once again, once we get the full range of whatever. But whenever we are on here, on what do we have here? It's not going to be change. I don't think it's going to be drag. Is there a mouse over? Mouse over maybe? And then let's go ahead and say get current emoji, and then let's go ahead and make this function. So get current current, well, we'll say actually const get current emoji, and this will be an e:, I'm guessing it's react.mouse event, I'm assuming, considering it's a mouse, and HTML div element. And I want to see, let's just go ahead and console.log. We are moving, oops, moving the mouse inside the selection box maybe. Let's just see what happens whenever we move the mouse around the box. Let's see if it prints out like I expect. So let's go into our console. So right now it's not doing anything. You see we're moving the mouse. So we should be able to, I think, get the current element maybe. What if we do console.log e.current target dot, and then can we get the aria label? So we should be able to get a, so aria checked, aria column. There is an aria label. Is it gonna be this easy, guys? There's no way it's gonna be this easy, right? It can't be this easy. Okay, so no. What does the current target look like? Let's see what the current target looks like. So it's getting, okay, so yeah, it's not getting deep enough to actually get to the specific emoji, I don't think. Yeah, okay, so that's the problem. What does e.target look like? Let's see what this one looks like. Let's go and get rid of that. So target does have what we're looking for. Now the only issue is as you go out of one, I think it's gonna get jittery. Let me look at what Twitter does really quick. Whoops. Yeah, so Twitter has like no spacing in between the columns whatsoever. So what we might have to do is take the aria label off of, if we come down here, we might take the aria label off of this guy itself and put it on the wrapper. So we copy and paste this and put it on the wrapper. This might still be an issue. Shoot, of course. Wait, no, the drop down itself, I think. So I think we just need to change the style. Then we need to change the style so that the boxes are basically touching each other. So let's see here. We come back in here. So what is 100% divided by 9? Let's do some quick maths. 100% divided by 9 is 11.11%. So if we go into here, into our category, our drop down, forgot what it was called, selector emoji, selector emoji, maybe. If we make this 33 by 33, I want these to basically be touching each other. That way there's nowhere for them to go. So if we come in here, we might have to get rid of some of the padding, but it's fine. So if we get rid of this, so let's see, we go to here. Okay, let's make it bigger. So let's go 34 by 34. I'm gonna make this gradually bigger until there's no overlap anymore. I think it's still, I think that's better. I think we basically don't have any overlap, and we might even be able to make it 35 by 35, and that might really get the overlap gone, and that might push it. I don't know, that might not have made it any better, but I think that might be good enough to do what we're trying to do. We might also, we could also put the ID on there. So we could also say like ID equal to emoji.name, like so. I don't know if we need the ARIA label, but now what we can go ahead and do is we can find the element by ID and get the text content out of it, and then put it inside that section. So now what we can go ahead and do is console.log. So let's go ahead and say const current emojis equal to e.target. Actually, let's say document. Although we have the current element, don't we? So we could just like e.target text value, right? I'm just dumb. e.target why did this have all that other stuff? e.target.text value. Let's see what happens. Is it not gonna let me? And it might not be text value, it might be like text or something. Okay, so it's not gonna let me do that. And current target does not work. Const element colon any is equal to e dot target, and then what if we say element dot text? Actually, element, I don't remember what this is. So let's say HTML get inner text. It might be inner text, but I don't remember. Inner text. So we'll say element dot inner text and see what happens. See if we can console log this. Okay, so that's obviously an issue. We'll say, what do we want to say? If, does this have an ID on it? We could also say like, if not, so let's try this. If element dot target or element dot ID console dot log this. So if it has an ID, because I don't think that the thing that's printing out all of those has an ID. So if we refresh again, yeah, so now it can't grab one that doesn't have an ID. So that's fine. And maybe we go ahead and come up here. We say const set and then current set current. Actually, we'll say current emoji. Current emoji and set current emoji equal to use state, and this will be a string, and by default it is like the waving hand. So let me pull up the emojis, emoji symbols and symbols, and let me grab waving really quick. Waving hand, copy, and by default it'll be this. So that'll be the current emoji by default. So now we might also want to kind of like get a bounds. So we might also want to say like, okay, whenever we leave, so we might also want a const reset current emoji equal to e react mouse event on HTML div elements, and this one will be for whenever it leaves the area, and this will be set current emoji to the default basically. So anytime we leave, it'll change it. Now these are going to be modified whenever we add skin tones, but I'm not concerned about the skin tones at this moment. I just want the general idea working. So now on mouse leave, it'll be equal to reset current emoji. Cool. So now, so if there's an ID, we'll set current emoji to elements dot and then element dot inner text. And we can also console.log the current emoji. Merry early Christmas to you as well. Hopefully I'm hopefully gonna have some time here after this, not after directly after the stream, but after I'm done with the stream, since I'm not working on any more streams or anything, to finally check out your game. So don't think I forgot, I just haven't had any time yet. So let's see if we can go ahead and console.log each of these. So let's refresh this just to kind of get it clear. So we got these, this is working. Now if we come out of here, it should have reset it. Cool, so now there's that. So now what we should be able to do is say current emoji. We might have to make this like into a div or something to make it bigger. But so current emoji is that, and as you can see, now we are changing the emojis as we go and we leave. That's basically how Twitter works. Cool, so that was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. So now let's go ahead and deal with this. So we might also want to go ahead and throw this into a div. Div class name equal to, and this will be emoji dash drop dash down dash, and then this will be current emoji, right? And then we'll put the current emoji in there, and we'll have to get the styling and the size bigger. And then here I'm gonna say let's say we need to set one more use state up here. So const, we're gonna say skin tone selector active, and set skin tone selector active equal to use states, and this will be a boolean, and it'll start out as false. I guess we also need the current skin tone. Const current skin tone and set current skin tone, and I'm not sure what we want to do here. Maybe we do string. I mean, we're gonna do a string anyway, but I'm kind of thinking how I want to do it. I think we're gonna start out as none, and then we're gonna change it as we click on them. But yeah, I hope you're doing good. As always, Dominic, appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully you get to have a nice, rest or whatever during Christmas time. I'm getting a week off, so it's going to be nice to kind of get away. I'm planning to upgrade my computer. I got a 4TB SSD and another 2 sticks of RAM, so I'm going to try to get all my videos done being recorded, and then get everything off my hard drives and upload and be all solid state. So this looks good. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this console.log because I don't want it or need it. So now what we're going to want to do is we need to do something based off of whether it's not active or whether or not it's active. So skin tone selector active ? So if it's active, let's have a div class name. And how do we want to do this? So we'll say class name equal to, and we'll say this is emoji dash drop down skin tone selector wrapper. If it's, I kind of want to do inactive first. Actually, we can do active first, sure. So if it's active, we're gonna have 3 different we're gonna have 4 different divs. So div class name equal to emoji drop down skin tone option. Maybe we'll have an ID equal to, and this will be light. And this is not gonna have like any content in it. It's just gonna have a circle with, I think it has like a ring around it and a couple other things. So if I come back and look at this, it's just a circle with some like outline effect, more or less. And it'll also have an on click equal to maybe select skin tone. And I'll set this up in a little bit. So copy this and paste this. So now this will be medium dash light, is I believe what they call it. Light, there's light, medium, light, and then medium. So this will be medium, and then there'll be medium dark. Medium dark, and then finally there's dark. I'm not gonna do like their expand and closing thing that they have. I'm just gonna make it work. I'm not really much into games, sadly, anymore. And then otherwise we'll have another div. So I have another div. I don't have time to play games, unfortunately. Div class name equal to emoji dash drop down skin dash tone dash selector dash wrapper. And what we'll do here, so we need like a check mark. So let's have a div class name equal to emoji dash drop dash down dash skin tone selected. Although, yeah, that's fine. We're just gonna have a style equal to, and we're probably gonna do something like this, and we're gonna have a background color, and this will be equal to, and this will be some function. We'll say backtick $, curly brace, and there'll be determine skin tone color, maybe, and call that. And we need to obviously make that function. And I think that's all we need. Actually, just kidding. Let's go ahead and we will close this guy and open up this div like so. And then inside we need a check mark. So let's go ahead and take a look at Material UI real quick. Material UI icons. And we'll grab an icon. Hopefully they have a check mark here. Yo, what happened to my icon list? There we go. Check mark. Let's see what they got. So they have done. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy this Material UI. Let's paste it at the top. So I'll put it here below my search icon. So done icon. Copy this guy, come down here. And inside here, we'll have a done icon. Again, this will also need an SX. So now we need to create our select skin tone. We also need to determine skin tone. I think determine skin tone will probably go inside of the utils, and then select skin tone will not. So const select skin tone equal to that, and this will have an react.mouse event because it'll be a click. HTML input, actually this is a div element, whoops, not list, div element. Cool. So that should fix that issue, right? And then we need to do the determine skin color, and something got scuffed here. I don't know what it is. Let's see. Did this not get closed? There we go. Now determine skin color. And then maybe this will be also have to be passed in the current skin tone. And then let's copy this, and we're gonna go into our utils, and let's go to the bottom, and this is just gonna return the color. So export const determine skin color equal to, this will return current skin tone, which is a string. We'll return a string. We'll do this, and we'll say case, and we'll have different cases. So first case will be light, and then break will actually return something. Return the string. Whoops, we need the switch, duh. Switch on the current skin tone, and then pass these in. So we need to grab these colors, which I should be able to do fairly easily. On the off chance you have time, you gotta check it out. Nice. Yeah, I'll have to see. Again, I'm probably gonna be doing a lot of relaxing during the holidays, and then a lot of editing. But if I do have time, I'll try to take a look at some of the game suggestions. So next case would be like light dash medium, and then we'll just return the string. Oops, I might want to do this right. Okay. Case will be medium, and return this. Case will be, whoops, case will be medium dash dark. If I could type, that'd be cool. I gotta get better at typing. I feel like it's a hindrance at this point. And then case dark. Return another one. And the default will return the yellow color. And keep in mind that I don't have all of the skin tones set up. I need to get the skin tone set up. That's something I'm going to do with the JSON list that I'm working on. So let's see if I can find the colors of these. So if I see if I can find the background color on these. So let's see here. Okay, so there is background colors. So background color on this one, RGBA. So the default would be RGBA. It's actually just RGB. 255, whoops, that's not 255, comma 220, comma 93. I definitely feel like I deserve to have, you know, some time off to relax for once, just after everything I've been through this year. So I'm gonna definitely try to take the time to do that. So now the light skin tone is RGB, and this is RGB 247, comma 222, comma 206. I also wanted to get like a lot done tonight. That way I can have a lot to have in my next couple episodes. The medium light is going to be RGB, and this is going to be 243, comma 210, comma 162. I really want to try to make this into like 2 episodes basically. Medium is going to be, and then that way we don't miss as much time on YouTube. RGB, and it's going to be 213, 171, and then 136. I also have a massive video coming out, and that's really what's been using up all my time, is I've been straight up editing nonstop for the past few months on a really big tutorial. So super excited for that to come out as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at what medium dark color is. So medium dark is RGB, and then this is going to be 175, 126, and then 87. And then finally, let's take a peek at what dark looks like. So dark color is, once again, RGB, and then this is going to be RGB 124, 83, and 62. Hopefully this all works out. All of these colors work out. So now let's go ahead and import our determine whatever. So this is our utils. So determine skin color, skin tone color, and hopefully this isn't too laggy. But there's should be a done icon in it. So whenever we click on this, technically there should be an on click on this as well. So I guess we already have an on click, so that's fine. So right now we're not going to see much. We'll probably just see a yellow. Well, actually it's takes up the entire space because we don't have a flex or anything on it. So I guess what we want to go ahead and do is add in the circle and everything and make it a circle. I gotta see how big this guy is. So this is like, what, like 22 by 22 or something. So let's go back into here. Let's first grab the skin tone selector, I guess. So let's copy this and let's go to the bottom, dot skin tone selector, width 100%, height, whoops, height 100%. This have to be a display flex, justify content, space between, and then we'll also have align items in the center. Let's have a padding of 12px just to kind of match it up with the rest. I think that's probably fine. It's still going to be a little bit scuffed, but it might change a little bit. Is this not inside of, let's see. Although this might not be high 100%. Oh, you know what? Let's see here. We need to do the emoji bottom. So I did the wrong thing. So we need to do emoji bottom. So copy this, and the bottom might actually need a height on it. So let's just double check that as well. So this has a height of 61. So let's go ahead and do the emoji drop down bottom, because I completely forgot about that. So width will be 100%. Height will be 61px, and hopefully this fits in. And then this is where I want the display flex at. I mean, we'll still need justify. We'll probably still need align item, center, and all of that stuff. But this should be the selector. Should be width fit content and height fit content in all reality. and then maybe like a display flex, justify content space evenly, and then align items center, and then maybe like a row gap. It might actually be column gap of like 4 pixels or something. 4 pixels might be aggressive, maybe 2 pixels. Well, yeah, that's probably a 2 pixel border. So yeah, we probably want 2 pixels. So that's probably more what we actually want, but let's just see now. There we go. So now it's kind of spaced apart. Now, obviously, I think that's actually about right. The sizing of the guy is a little bit big. We might actually want more padding. So let's go like 32 pixels or something, or 24 pixels padding. And this might be a little bit aggressive as well, but I think that looks pretty good actually. So now let's go ahead and start cleaning some of this stuff up a little bit. So the wrapper we just did, actually we did the selector, huh? So the wrapper is going to be basically the same as well. The emoji definitely needs to be bigger. If we actually take a look at Twitter, the emoji is about 30 by 30. So let's try to copy this and how do we want to deal with this? Whoops. Come in here. So let's deal with the emoji. So we might just say height fit content and width fit content, and we don't have to worry about trying to center it. And then font size it for like 30 px and see what this looks like. This might be massive, I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit big, and I think, well, it's not actually scuffed, I guess. So let's try maybe like 26. 30 might be a little bit big. I think that looks better. And then I feel like maybe we need to change the left and the right here. So let's say padding left is like 16 px, and then padding right is like 20 px. So I feel like there's definitely more, maybe it is the same amount of padding and I'm going crazy, but there's definitely like space to the right kind of the scroll bar. And it might be messing my head with not having this a circle, but I think it looks good. And this will look a lot better once I actually get this fully working. Cool, so it looks good to me. This might end up being an image after next, or a couple weeks whenever I get the emoji finished, but it is what it is. So now what we want to go ahead and do is get, let's see here. Let's go ahead and get the, this sucks because it's going to be like the same. So let's do the wrapper really quick. So the wrapper is going to be basically the same as the selector. In all honesty, selector is probably just needs less. So selector, we can probably get rid of all of this. And then dot, I forgot what I called this, emoji drop down. Let me go ahead and see what I called this. Emoji drop down skin tone selector wrapper. Skin tone selector wrapper. So this can have the display flex and all that. Width will also be fit content, and height will also be fit content as well. And then we need the actual like options. So I'm gonna do the option selected first, just because this is the one that we can see. So width was like what, 22 or something like that. Width is, let me see if I can get a good width here. 19 by 19. Let's just say 20 px. Height 20 px. The border radius, border radius is 100%, and it has like a border of 2px solid blue. It might actually be 1px, but I'm gonna try 2px solid blue. And obviously the check mark needs to be smaller. And then we need a display flex, justify content in the center, and align items in the center. And I think that should be fine. We need to make the check mark way smaller because the check mark is massive right now, but that should be fine. And hopefully that's centered. It might look a little bit weird, but I think it's fine. And I'm trying to see if there's a hover effect on this. No hover effect. So we just need to make the check mark smaller, and we might need to do something about the oddness, but it is what it is. So now what we want to go ahead and do is come in here, and this guy needs an SX equal to, and we need a font size. Whoops, if I could do this correctly, font size, and let's try like 12px and just see what it looks like, and we can go ahead and adjust from there. I think that's about right. This needs an on click on it, so actually let's do these really quick. So copy this one, paste it in here. So this one, this one's interesting because this one also has a hover effect, but the hover effect is like the color of the background with RGBA, and I'm not sure how to do that. We might just ignore the hover for now. So the width is going to be the same, like so, and then we don't need anything else really. It's just going to be like this. So now if we come in here, do we have an on click on the, we do not. So we need an on click on this div. On click equal to, we'll call this open, open skin tone selector. And honestly, what we could do is we could say, make an arrow function and set skin tone active to true. We could probably do that honestly and get away with that. That would be a pretty simple way to do it. So if we click on this, it goes away. What happened to, it's there. It has no, okay, it has no style on it. It has no style on it at all. Huh. Let's see. Oh, that makes sense because I never actually did this part. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So let's say style equal to, and we'll go ahead and say, I mean, we could have done this a different way. We could do this actually. Whoops, fix that. Here's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and come into our this, and we'll say light, and this will be background color, and we'll grab these RGB values. So this one, and then light dash medium. It might be medium light. I don't remember. It's either medium light or light medium. Let's double check the way I have it. I have it as medium light. This might be backwards. It might actually light medium, but I don't think it really matters all that much. That's just stylistic. So medium light is this RGB. Let's paste it in here. And then we have medium. Oh, we need background color though. Background color. And that's what we could do, I guess. This is how we could do the hover. So medium is this background dash color. So this solved 2 problems in one, so that's cool. So RGB, and then paste that. And then we'll have medium dash dark, medium dark, and then background, background color. Once again, is this RGBA. Copy this one. And then I forgot the RGBA on this part somehow, or I deleted it. RGBA, actually it's just RGB. These all look the same color to me, but whatever, I guess. Dark, and then we'll say background dash color, RGB. And I'm running short on time here. I do want to try to finish this last bit up here, and I think that'll probably be good. So copy this and paste that. Whoops. And then I don't know what to do. I don't think I have an option for default, do I? Yeah, I don't even have a none. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this one more time. And this is gonna be none. And select current syntone, that's fine. Copy this. So then # none. So # none will be background color. And I had the background color here somewhere, but I'll just grab it from the utils again. So it'll be this RGBA once again. Copy. I don't keep saying RGBA. I mean RGB. And we'll go ahead and do is this. So light, this colon, put on a hover, and we'll say border. Ooh, these all need border radiuses, huh? No, it's fine. Because we should have this on here. Border radius 100%. So that should be fine. So this should just be like border 1px solid RGBA. And then do like a slightly lighter color than this. So RGBA. And then we'll pass in like 0.3 or something. And then we'll do the same thing. Pound medium dash light colon hover, and then we'll do border colon 1px solid RGBA, and I'll just grab this actually, medium light, add an A and add like 0.3. Yeah, I don't quite have enough time to do everything I want with this, unfortunately. But if we can kind of get this looking nice, I think I'll be happy with that. Pound, medium, hover, border, grab the RGB, add an A on it, and say like 0.3, and then medium dark, medium dark, hover, as a border, grab this one, RGBA, add the A, whoops, A, and then this will be 0.3, and then finally, actually not finally because I have 2 more, dark, hover, grab the border, 1px solid, and then RGBA, then we fix the other border as well, and 0.3, so this would be 1px solid, and then finally pound none hover, and border, whoops, like a type 1px solid, and copy the RGBA, and 0.3. Hopefully you don't have to do too much more debugging here, because it is getting to my stopping point for the night. But now, so hover's not working for some reason, but The rest of this is working. So I'm curious why hover's not working, considering that the background colors are. And we still need it on like the selected, so we might have to determine which one's selected somehow. But at least it's getting a decent start. And I don't know why the hover's not working, because the background color is working. And maybe the border's not big enough or something. But the hover definitely doesn't seem to do anything. But really quick before we do in this, let's go ahead and do the select skin tone, and then we can maybe see what happens. So whenever we select skin tone, we have E, so we should have E dot current target dot ID, right? So we should be able to say set current skin tone to E dot current E dot current target dot ID, and then set active or set current skin tone this to false, and hopefully that sets off a chain reaction. So if we click on that, it sets the skin tone. So obviously this isn't doing anything, but I think that's probably a good place to stop. We got quite a bit done. The only thing that we do need to figure out still is figure out why the hover's not working, and maybe it's just something really simple. We also need to determine which one of these is correct, and we could probably actually go through and loop now, do like the list of different skin tones and make this even a little bit nicer and know which one is the current one. But I think that's going to be it for this streaming or this episode as well. So thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate everyone that left a comment, everyone that liked it. I've been keeping track of likes, but it looks like 9 likes and 2 concurrent views. So that's pretty good. I appreciate you all for stopping by and sticking around. Have a great holiday. Have a great new year. I will be back streaming hopefully a little bit after the new year's over. But yeah, I appreciate you all, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream.